Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, and welcome back to Crusader Kings 2. Well, last time we got very much involved in the marriage game. I picked some of my most powerful, useful council members, and I got them all married off, and they've started producing some, hopefully, very, very useful children indeed, because these guys aren't going to be around forever. In fact, not only are they not going to be around forever, it's Crusader Kings 2, and epidemics are, well, there's epidemics just sweeping through England right now. Luckily, the south seems to have recovered, but it's still, very much bad. There are still, corpse carts and gravestones in North Wales, so things are not exactly great. These guys could just get sick and die at any time, so getting a couple of children out of them that might actually inherit some useful skills could be very, very useful indeed. We, meanwhile, have dreams of potentially becoming the King of Wales, with a strong claim, which we may possibly have fabricated, on Glamorgan, which as soon as Devon recovers just a little bit more, we might well be in a position to start pushing against, which would be absolutely marvellous, because, yeah, monthly balance-wise, we're actually doing pretty darn well here. We've got enough money to invade Wales, and if need be, if it becomes a disaster and the Welsh decide to actually respond en masse, we might actually be in a good position to actually call up some mercenaries to assist if that proves to be necessary. But I'm hoping it won't be, because I'm hoping what's going on up here is, yes indeed, the levy sizes are being reduced in various Welsh provinces. If they decide to jump in and try and help their Welsh brethren, they're not going to have as much strength whatsoever. And giving them a bit of a beating wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because yeah, next generation, I might have actually married a nice little Welsh dissident into my family, and he might just come with a whole bunch of very useful claims that I can use to mop up the whole of Wales. Still, that's for the future. For the time being, the real question is, when is Mercia going to make its move? Because Mercia is powerful. Mercia right now is basically just shutting down the King's Council. Though actually, it looks like, in fact, on this occasion, yeah, Mercia is actually following up from this guy. So, yeah, the Duke of East Anglia is also decided he's going to shut down the council, and everyone's doing favours to There's just a great big chain of favours that basically mean the entire council is just shut down until further notice. At this exact moment in time, Harald Hardrada just can't do a thing, which is beautiful. Have a look see at the factions, by the way. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Would you actually believe right now there are multiple factions in existence? So, Duke Girth for England has actually managed to attract some attention. Yeah, so Kent has actually sided with East Anglia, so these two duchies over here are both in favour of East Anglia providing the new king. But unsurprisingly, it's Duke Morcar that's the big one. Oh wow, okay, it was just some guy in Somerset that kicked that off. Are you actually in that faction automatically? Because we've got ourselves, yeah, Dorset's in on that. And, oh yeah, there he is. He's chosen to actually join that. So Mercia has actively chosen to join a faction that was set up by Somerset to put them on the throne. And, unsurprisingly, well, maybe a bit surprisingly, Duke Harold of Essex, formerly Harold II, has also decided to join that faction. So that is, yeah, the guys that are in that faction are these two, and it is, yeah, Dorset, Somerset, Mercia, and Essex. So the completely unpronounceable duchy of whatever that, I don't know how the hell you're supposed to pronounce that, these guys, they've decided not to actually throw their lot in with anyone yet, as far as I can tell. Or have you actually decided to throw your lot into your own personal... Ah, that's what you're doing. So these guys have just decided, yay, it's the Me for King faction, which has only got me in it. We're just going to sit around in this room and I'm going to drink all the lemonade by myself. Oh, you poor bastards. I'm guessing Kent and East Anglia would fall in if need be. The question is, do I actually want in on this? Because it can actually tell you how strong the faction is. So the faction can call up about 6,000 men. The problem is that really enough to kick out Harald Hardrada? If I join the faction, it doesn't make much difference, to be honest. It really doesn't make much difference. Interesting. I can join and leave anytime I want, by the way. As far as I can tell, there's no limits on that whatsoever. But if you join a faction, you must abide by the faction leader's decisions. If a faction is headed for open revolt, you cannot decline to join in the war. Okay. because in all fairness, I'm only bringing, like, yeah, a tiny number of men to bear here. I'm going to stay out of this one. Actually, in all fairness, I'm not bringing a tiny number of men. I'm bringing 1,200 men. That's not nothing. Okay. I'm going to hold out for now. Just see what happens next. Because I'm more interested in Glamorgan just for the time being. But keep an eye on that faction. That's pretty big and important. And excellent news as we enter March. I am once again in possession of a pregnant wife. Which is beautiful. But then again, at this point do I have enough children right now? I can probably call off the family focus. Because I've actually been family for a while, now I actually get the chance to choose a new focus if I want to. So I could actually just, yeah, I could just go for a business focus. And yeah, obviously you're locked away from some if you have incompatible traits. So if I were to be incapable, I wouldn't be allowed to be in business. And that's incapable as well. Actually, it would appear that, yeah, incapable blocks you from huge amounts of stuff. Actually, and some things like seduction, you can't actually be celibate or a eunuch to be a seducer, which I suppose is fair, sure. In fact, this would do. Go on then. So, business, stewardship +2, and my city vassals would actually approve of me. So the guys who are actually chilling out in like the individual cities and the churches and whatever. Yeah, I'm going to go over to a business focus for the time being, so that's going to be just flippin' lovely. That will actually push up the entire stewardship of the state, which is obviously a function of me, my wife, and the relevant councillor. And that should also mean, yeah, these guys come to just like me a lot more. And here we flipping go. So I sent my chancellor over to Winchester to basically just suck up to Harald Hardrada, and so far it has been a success. During my visit to the court of Harald Hardrada, I managed to make him understand what a benevolent and peaceful ruler you really are. He sends his regards. And as a result, yeah, his opinion of me goes up quite a bit. So yes, right now, his opinion of me is nice and positive on account of those improved relations. So that's absolutely marvellous. I think you are also... Are you ready to be redeployed, by the way, given you've done your job? No, until June of 1074, you guys cannot actually be deployed. Fair enough, I'll keep you where you are, but I might just move you around later. And only a few days later, apparently you've just managed to do the same thing again. Does that actually stack, by the way? It does stack. Blimey, so that's already up to +40, so at this point, King Harold really likes me. Now, that's potentially quite useful, because there's a possibility if he likes me, I might get myself promoted onto the council at some point, which would be very, very good indeed, because I can't help but consider, yeah, I've actually got 2 counts under my control, and East Anglia only has 3 over here, and right now, yeah, East Anglia does have a position, so it's entirely possible if East Anglia is causing trouble, he might kick out East Anglia and make me actually take that position instead, which could be very, very useful indeed. Because, yeah, these guys, they draw a salary. It's worth money. In fact, bloody hell, he just keeps doing it over and over because his chance to succeed is so flipping high. I mean, it's supposed to be only 50% yearly, but he's just done it 3 times in about 4 months. So, well done. Harald Hardrada truly loves me right now. Which is, you know, convenient. It means he won't actually steal my land off me. And something else just occurred as well. This lovely period of peace in which my entire council kind of seems to love me. My marshal's thrilled with me. Court chaplain's pretty happy with me. Everybody's pretty happy. When your council is content, that's an excellent time to go changing the laws in your favour. So there's a few different types of law we're actually allowed to change here. Inheritance I can't change just yet, 'cause you need to have been ruling for 10 years before you're allowed to actually change succession law. So, yeah, that will actually be in 2 years' time, because the game starts counting when the game began, which was in September of 1066. So check back in 2 years on that. Other things I can do is, yeah, I can change who's controlling what, whether it's the council or the ruler. So I'm pretty happy with all of that for the most part. Obligations is interesting. At that point I can change basically whether my vassals owe me more in the way of money or more in the way of troops. All of this, however, is not something I'm just setting on a sliding scale. All of this is basically to be put to council vote. So right now, say, my nobles, they actually have to, yeah, they provide me with some tax and some levies. Now, I could say, okay, nobles, I'd like you to actually be focusing a bit more on the levy focus and provide me with a little bit less on the money side. And I can see how people are going to vote were I to put that to the council, because I don't just change that, the council votes on it. Now, many people don't like that, because yes, as a general rule, the nobles want to be providing money rather than troops. So go on then, I'll actually just kind of gently shuffle that over a little bit. Actually, how much levy am I giving up right now? Not a huge amount, to be honest. The levies are not a significant part of my military force at the minute. And that will be a little bit more tax, and just about everyone will actually vote for that. So, yep, everyone would pretty much be happy for that. So let's actually put that in immediately. I'm going to put that in, and as time goes by, the council will actually vote on that. Now, as for the burghers, they're the guys who are, yeah, the mayors in the realm. So hang on, what would they typically prefer to do? So mayors typically prefer supplying troops rather than paying taxes. And unfortunately, there's no clear, position on the council. The council's not 100% sure what it would do. But yes, of course, the mayor obviously votes yes. I'm going to put this to the council just to see, because, yeah, that will slightly lower the tax take, but it will slightly increase the obligation in terms of troops, if I'm allowed to. Wait, I think I'm actually locked until the council's done. The council's currently considering something. I can't put anything else to the council just now. Actually, can I put... No. I think for the time being, I just have to let the council decide on that. They should vote in favour of that, because we were told they would. So, come on, guys. Hurry up. Get on with it, please. There we are. So, 2 votes in favour, no votes against, 4 votes undecided, and that has now shifted. Lovely. So, as a result of that, that is marvellously good news. Now, the big one, the really big one, is over here in Realm, however. But apparently I'm not actually allowed to set another law change, unfortunately. Yes, so revoking title. Laws governing the right of the ruler to revoke titles from the subjects. Obviously, there might be some occasions when someone who's been given a title is starting to annoy me. So I would like to be able to revoke that, but for the time being, I can only make an actual change in the law, by the looks of it, once every 5 years. So we'll need to come back to that one down the line. Still, monthly tax balance is looking really good right now. Plus 3 gold a month is nothing to flipping sniff at. Also, by the way, the Pope's dead and there's a new Pope, but I didn't really know much about the old Pope, so it's probably fine. How's my opinion? I can't check what my opinion with the old Pope is now, because he is kind of dead. My opinion of the new Pope appears to be just fine, and... it's another bloody daughter. I've got 4 daughters. I've got 4 daughters and only 1 son. If that son dies, this is problematic. I could do with another bloody son. And Medul, no, I don't like that. We'll have it be Medea instead. Medea is a nice name. So fine, the Pope's a bit on the dead side. Now, mildly annoying thing, it would appear that yes indeed, Glamorgan is pretty well defended, all things considered. So it would appear that we're going to have very little choice but to call up the mercenaries if we genuinely want to take out Glamorgan. So, as I do want to do that, and as now is probably an excellent time to do that, because yes indeed, the other Welsh kingdoms have just been recently hit quite badly by plague, but the plague does appear to have burnt itself out, so hopefully there's no trouble up there right now. Yes, this could be my first foothold in Wales itself. So, let's get this moving, I'd say. Now, my personal levies are not actually going to be sufficient to cover this war. Because, yeah, this place here has about 1,400 guarding it. So if I were to summon up my own personal levies, yeah, that's only about 1,283. Close, but not enough. Sorry, I really wasn't clear about this previously. So basically, the way that you actually do siege in this game is battles in the open field are a bit more complicated because then there's a question of what an army looks like. So, for example, armies have centers and they might have flanks. You can actually assign characters and they have a certain number of archers versus heavy infantry versus light cavalry, and there's phases to the battle, so the archers kind of, fire at each other first, and that can be useful. And if the flanks are routed, then pursuing light cavalry are really, really powerful, so there's different phases to battle. I don't understand the battles that well, but we'll get to them if that becomes a big deal later. Sieges are a lot more simple. Quite frankly, what you do is you look at each of the settlements and you figure out how big is the actual permanent garrison, how big is the levy. If the levy's been recently called away, then the levy won't be there. So basically just take the garrison, add in however much levy is there, that'll give you a number, in this case 1,400. That doesn't mean I actually have to fight those 1,400. All it means is if I've got 1,403, i.e. a bigger number, then the siege will be able to be successfully executed. It will take a certain amount of time to siege that place out, and then we just go on to the next. Once you've sieged all 3 of those territories, if that's the only territory this guy owns, he'll basically have no choice but to surrender. So as my military isn't actually big enough to take the place anyway, so one way or another I'm going to have to buy mercenaries, I may as well not make these guys stand. Because these guys I actually have to pay, 4.29 a month to maintain them and keep them standing. That's more than I'm actually earning right now, so that will put me into deficit. So as I need to buy the mercenaries anyway, I may as well keep those guys not up and about. Plus, in the event of a counterattack by the Welsh down into Cornwall or Devon, it would be useful to have those guys there to fight them off. I've also got my vassals. My vassals I don't actually pay for, but the vassals who I actually drain, they will not be keen on that. And as you can see, there isn't exactly much to be called up right now. Those guys are still recovering from the wars, particularly those in Devon. So the number of troops that Devon can produce is insignificant right now. Honestly, it's not even worth actually raising them because it'll just annoy my vassals and then they'll be less likely to change the laws for me in 5 years' time. So in which case, all I'm going to do is straight over to the military. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I need to declare war first. So you, my good man, I'm going to declare war on you right now because I would like Glamorgan for me. And that will be absolutely flipping marvellous. It's my claim, so if I actually get this territory, it will actually belong to me. Send that, and now I can immediately raise up the troops. Yeah, you're not allowed to actually declare war while troops are raised, which I know makes sense, because otherwise you could actually move your troops to just outside, declare war, then march them straight in and occupy the place before they've got time to mobilise their troops properly. But it is still just kind of weird. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense. So, let's go over to mercenaries, and we're probably, once again, just going to want the cheapest ones going. Here we go, the good old Irish band. So summon them up, they have 2,000 odd strength. Not bad, and let's just actually start them marching immediately. As time goes by, they'll actually build up their strength. We'll also see if this guy bothers to call up his forces. And of course, I can actually assign my own commanders to actually command the fronts, which will actually, you know, provide a bit of bonus power. So why not, I'd say. Apparently, Sogan, steward of the Irish band, is good at martial. So how about you guys actually go and, like, get involved? And a courtier in the Irish band, again, good at your job. So I see no reason for you not being involved. And you are, yeah, you know what? You're, misguided warrior. Well, apparently it does actually make him still a good warrior, it just makes him bad at learning. So hopefully that will increase the power there. Time starts ticking along and we start marching. Now I could actually call up my fleets to carry him around, but the fleet can only actually go into ground where there's actually a port. So I'd need to get the fleet, pull it in here, load these guys up, send them round there, etc, etc, etc. Oh fine, now there's a new recruitment drive. Whatever, Elfwin. Alright, just get on with it as soon as you can, please. And there's just more Holy Roman Imperials. Luckily they're naffing off. And yeah, for the time being, it does rather appear that, yeah, I don't see any counterattacks from these guys yet. And by the way, morale starts off really low for some reason, then it rises as you actually, like, just as time goes by, which is another reason why you don't want to necessarily jump straight into wars immediately, because, yeah, your morale starts off really, really flipping low. And looks like he has indeed raised his forces. Now that works for me, and also what does that mean, by the way? Here we go. So combat view. Let's actually, hang on, slow this right down here so we actually get to see this. So you see what's happening immediately is the archers are starting off by firing at the archers. So those groups are taking each other out. Now his flanks have immediately been destroyed. So as a result, the archers on the flanks can concentrate their fire on the centre, and cavalry is chasing off his flanks, which is very, very powerful indeed. So as a result, yeah, as soon as this guy actually naffs off over there, we should be able to actually crush this. Which is why the numbers are not 100% always what you'd expect. Because, yeah, there is some tactics going on in the background. I'm not entirely sure I fully understand how it all works, by the way. But short version is, yes, there's flanks. And then as you can see here, once his flanks have been fully routed and actually got rid of, all of my flanks can focus on the middle, at which point he will start losing strength incredibly quickly, and I will not lose much strength at all, because we can basically just start shooting him dead, and we are taking very, very few losses whatsoever. Now, as for my younger daughter, she apparently has finished her education. She's not quite so good apparently. She wasn't quite so good at learning how to be a diplomat as her sister was. So she is underhanded rogue, martial -1, diplomacy +3, fertility +5%. Okay, fair if flipping enough, but big deal here, of course. Betrothed can marry. So the question now is, if I actually, I assume they're not willing to do matrilineal, of course. We would get no non-aggression pacts from the marriage. I thought we would get a non-aggression pact from Norway, but okay, fine, whatever. Honestly, it's probably worth it to have you married in. Unless, of course, let's just very quickly have a quick look-see at you. Let's just make sure that you haven't become amazing in any way. So an underhanded rogue, charitable, cynical, kind. And yeah, while she is pretty good at the old diplomacy, let's just compare her to her sister. Her sister is, yeah, 16,9,656 versus 14,7,461. Yeah, she's not as good. She's not as good. Let's marry her off into Prince Magnus of Norway, who is rather actually conveniently, if we actually go over here, yeah, the next in line to the throne. And Harald Hardrada's 59, which in the 11th century is pretty old. And in Crusader Kings 2 is ludicrously old. So he's not going to be around for too much longer, at which point one of my daughters will be queen. And there will be a lot of flipping prestige to be got out of that. Prestige, by the way, if I understand it correctly, is basically, it's not so much a currency you spend much time spending, but it impresses the nobles, whereas piety impresses the church. And money is just what you actually use for, you know, everything. And by the way, yeah, my wealth right now is dropping pretty darn fast. So hopefully this war doesn't take too much longer to wrap up. Yep, we're going to get those two married. That will be absolutely marvellous. Let's get back to the battle over here. And at this point, yeah, this should be pretty much done now. And we have won the Battle of Cardiff there. Marvellous. And our casualties are basically insignificant, whereas he has taken a lot of damage. Now, where he runs off to next is interesting, because, yeah, a shattered army can retreat in all sorts of weird and wacky directions, and suggest that they get married. Marvellous. They are indeed married. So I can now begin immediately sieging this place down. Now, I'm a little bit worried about the amount of time this is going to take. I'm just getting set in for the siege right now. I mean, if need be, okay. Important thing here, in the event I have to break up the mercenaries, remember, in fact, actually, this might be worth thinking about anyway. Consider this. I need the 2,000 mercenaries to siege and take down the county capital. Because the problem with the county capital is, it's actually got itself a load of flipping troops. But I've actually killed what was the levy, because the levy was raised by him. Those were the guys I just fought. So at this point, the entire levy for that building is only 600. The actual forces at this church are 800, because churches don't produce much in the way of troops, and 834 at that city. So the entire actual, yeah, this is interesting. Right now there is nothing left in that county, apart from, at most, 834 men per area. So I could actually, at this point, break down these mercenaries and say, thanks lads, good work, and send in my personal much cheaper levies. Now that would be interesting, and, oh, something potentially rather significant has just happened. So what do we have here? To the righteous wit Caddock, may you live in harmony and contentment, we'd like you to back our plot to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Essex. County of Northampton. Oh! Well, this is interesting. So, this guy, Count Wolteoff of Northampton, who right now is just, yeah, you're just a vassal count who controls just this small, tiny area here, who right now is, yeah, he is reporting into Duke Harold of Essex, who controls this whole area, and because he has no children, if he were to die, it would actually go back to Harold as well. He wants to fabricate a claim on the entire duchy. Okay, what exactly is our opinion of each other? We're both kind, prestige. Yeah, here we go. Because I've got prestige, I actually get +2 in my relationship with him. That's why prestige is useful. State diplomacy is good, but... apparently you are also... What, are you deceitful? Yeah, you're deceitful and I'm honest. But we seem to vaguely like each other. As for, yeah, King Harold of Essex, he doesn't like me either, but then I've not really got any reason to work against Harold. Yeah, sorry, you're a vassal count, and King Harold of Essex, sorry, Duke Harold. Don't let Harald Hardrada hear you say bloody King Harold of Essex, that's going to go down badly. I've really got no reason to vote against him, and he might be useful. He could be useful, he could be an important part of the alliance that's going to get Morcar elected again. So, sorry, me and you, not doing that. I'm not helping you with that plan. Honestly, doesn't really involve me at all. And yes, indeed, there are children being born. So I'm just going to quickly give that small baby an actual focus in humility, because that could be very, very useful for making you a skilled diplomat later. And someone else as well. Alan! Who's Alan? Another one of my nephews never stop needing bloody focus. But, as it turns out, Alan turns out to be pretty good here. He's curious, he's playful, and he's fussy. Which is actually potentially quite interesting. So, yeah, playful and fussy apparently make for good intrigue education. Alright, we might have a future spy master here. That could be of interest. Yeah, let's get him trained in the arts of assassination. Boom. And confirmation there, my daughter has indeed left and has now naffed off to the Duchy of... Oh, wow. Oh, it must be flipping cold. I'm so sorry. I hope you took a sweater. I didn't realise I was sending you all the way over there, but that looks flipping cold up there. So, time to execute my plan, I'd say. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to raise my personal levies. I'm just going to bring them together in Devon. I know that's actually going to increase the deficit for the time being. But as soon as they actually all group together, I will, at that point, start them marching north, and when they hit this area, I want to break up the mercenaries, because mercenaries are expensive. Right, you get round here, go and join up with that force, and that will all be lovely. How's the siege going, by the way? Slow. That's the thing. I'm not sure you'd actually be able to successfully do this before I was forced to break you apart. Plus, mercenaries are so expensive, I'd rather just actually get you out of the way. What happened to the survivors of that battle, by the way? Because I'm not quite sure where they are. Okay. Let's just actually go over here. So, next up, who's actually in here? So, the army of Captain Odran. Good work, guys, but I think it's time for you to actually go away. So, military, and break down those guys. So, as a result of that, now I'm only paying 4.29 in troop costs per month. And the siege continues. This guy actually reappears. He's now heading over to Powys. So that's where you were hiding. But that's absolutely fine. As soon as I take down this first settlement, I might actually head up there. Ah, you're trying to loop around me, aren't you? Yeah, this is why I wanted to keep some of the personal levies at home, ideally. He's actually now going to try and get around me and attack my home. So, that's annoying, but we'll just have to make do. Honestly, I'm only losing a tiny amount of money per month. I'd rather you guys didn't actually take any more damage. Okay, fine. I'll let it stand for the time being, because I'm not going to be able to catch him. So I may as well just basically let him do what he wants. Yeah, this is why I wanted to leave these guys at home, because then if he decided to counterattack, we could actually just raise my own forces to counteract that. Unless, of course... Ooh. How many people are left right now? 641. Hang on, let's just... How does this break down here? How does this break down? Because if I was to break down just the troops I raised from one of these places, like if I was to... Can I actually make local liege levies? No, this is the liege. Sadly, I don't think I can... Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have taken like the 700 up here and left like the 500 down here. It would have been enough, but... Unfortunate, but we'll just have to flipping make do. So he's totally heading in that direction. And what is this? Hello. So, okay, why does everybody suddenly want to take over Essex? What's the problem here? Who are you? You are the... Who are you exactly? You're the Count of Middlesex. Okay, seriously, Harold, like, your own court seems to just... Oh, yeah. That's why his own court despises him. That's kind of unfortunate. Why? His diplomacy is awful. Liege is arbitrary. It's because he was publicly humiliated. Basically, everyone's sick of him because he lost the war. Okay. Who exactly are you, precisely? No, I'm staying out of it, sorry. If you guys want to take him down, you're welcome. I'm not actually going to get involved myself, though. Okay? You guys are just going to have to do that. And there we go. So, the Glamorgan chappie is now actually starting to siege out those bastards, which you can only just afford to do. Very irritatingly. I probably should have actually called up the levies, because they might have been able to do enough damage to him. Actually, but it would have killed them, so it wasn't worth it. All we need to do is finish this siege, then I'll go and kill him, then I'll come back and finish it off. It'll be fine. So you, my good man, will be dead momentarily. Come on, let's just speed this up now until that is all done. I'm leading this army personally, by the way, so hopefully that will all be... Oh! Okay, we've got ourselves an interesting situation here. So, as it turns out, Harald Hardrada is now going to use the armies of England to attack Sweden. Okay. Fascinating. So he's basically looking to seize some Swedish land. Okay, Norway's getting dangerously powerful. Anytime Morcar of Mercia would like to go and get involved, that would be marvellous. Right, slow things down a little bit here. I've got... That is... Hang on. That is my son-in-law has got herself... Very, very nice indeed. So Rio has picked up a daughter. Now, I could do with a son. Actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter because all I'm going to be using is the claim needs to be pressed. That's absolutely fine. But I would like to just update the name slightly. So that's Margaret. Margaret is Rio and What's-His-Face's daughter. So that's good. And as soon as this place goes down, is this place doing... Yeah, this place is doing fine for the time being. Right, Siege of Cardiff has been won. So we move straight on to the next place. Except we're not going straight on to the next place. I'm, at this point, heading straight for home to go and kick these bastards' arses again. So, as soon as we get here we go. Hendrik's Justice has brought peace. Yeah, Hendrik is great. He's just so flipping great. He's done a great flipping job. And now we are momentarily arriving home. And slow things down here. This will be a nice, easy victory. So, yes, indeed. Actually, we apparently don't have a flank. One of our armies just doesn't have a flank, but it seems like that's not going to be a big deal because we quite significantly outnumber this guy. So he's just being absolutely trashed right now. Right now the war score is at 68%. I'm hoping as soon as this guy is defeated and driven back, it might actually hit 100% already. He might just be forced to give up. So this war's as good as over. 87%. So I'm going to need to... Are you retreating backwards right now? Are you? No, he's not. But... Hello. Rumours of a traitor working with the besiegers have eroded the morale of the defenders of Cardiff. Good. So, apparently Cardiff will be easier to take. I've already taken Cardiff. Fairer flipping enough. Right, so now we need to head back over there. I'm losing money, but it's a very small amount of money. And Devon was once again slightly attacked, because poor Devon, but it's not much. And did you by any chance just flee onto that boat? Honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. The surviving forces are not big enough to actually launch an assault. Because there are simply too many people here for these guys to actually siege out. So at this point, they can't really do any damage to me. So that is marvellously good news. And yeah, my troops have just been called up. Because apparently at this point... Oh, boo. There is, however, an outbreak. So some of my troops have just died. Are you actually coming this way? Are you genuinely coming this way? And my wife's pregnant again. Please have a son. You're actually arriving in... No, we'll arrive in St. George's Channel. Fine, you're actually on a boat right now. Okay, well, have fun being on a boat. So what's going on over here in Sweden? So the situation currently on the ground here is... Hang on, let's just go over to Realm View for a second. So the Realm View is... Yeah, this is all Sweden. And the Norwegian army appears to basically just be swarming all over it. Now, this is actually quite useful for us to actually keep an eye on here. Because this is... How many actual forces does Norway have access to? Because it would appear to be, yeah, give or take, about 8,000 is their core force. And I think that doesn't include the English. I think the English are still on their way in these fleets. Though actually, that's only 7 galleys. That can't be all of it. So, wherever they are, they're not there just yet. And also, that's a Straban army, whoever exactly that is. And we are continuing to just actually undergo some sieges over there. Yeah, Norway's getting dangerously powerful. Though fortunately their armies seem to really struggle with supplies. I see them with the little skulls, meaning they're out of supplies all the flipping time. So, what do you have? Ah! So actually, Sweden has a very, very powerful 7,000 force army right here. So, the right engagement could actually lead to them being able to gain a victory here, because they are certainly, right now, attacking. That's Norwegian territory. Okay. This could be very, very useful indeed. Did you just actually manage to take some of that? Yeah. They've actually taken a part of that, so doing alright so far. And if you guys could just pick off this army of 2,000, yeah, that would be very, very good indeed. Now, let's just focus on my own war over here. Looks like no Welsh reinforcements showing up just yet. These guys are you seriously actually trying to do this right now? Yeah, they are. And the thing that they're actually trying to do is they're trying to besiege this territory, but they can't because they've only got 280 men to 633 defenders. So the siege literally doesn't work. The siege can't actually do anything. So, marvellous. And also, apparently Harald Hardrada's opinion just keeps flipping going up. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably move you off that job. Let's just check my council are doing sensible things right now. Yes, in fact, I think it's time to consider maybe changing tack. Because right now we're just making Harald Hardrada like us. But what if I was to change over to sowing dissent? So, yeah, actually making vassal liege opinion lowered, which I've got a 32% chance of achieving annually, versus my chancellor being discovered is only 4%. It is still dangerous, though. Let's just check what the state of the factions are right now. At this exact moment in time, very few people interested in plotting. Fine, can't blame them, to be honest. At this exact moment in time, they are a little bit on the busy side. They're recovering from illness and war. Because if we go over to, say, the economy screen, yeah, there was a lot of damage done to this bit of the world. So I think they're still waiting to recover a little bit. Though, yeah, look at that. They were badly damaged. They're still waiting to actually regrow their levies. Although actually that's probably not the case. Actually what's probably happened is, yeah, those levies have just been drained by Harald Hardrada to fund his stupid war in Sweden. Still, he can just get on over here and do literally nothing because his siege is not a siege. The garrison literally actually outnumbers him. So in which case we can just basically crack on with the final settlement over here. Though, oh, we don't actually need to bother. We're already up to 100%. He's ready to actually give up. So, we just enforce our demands, send that, and I now officially have a Welsh territory. You can stop besieging it now. We own it. There you go. Well done. Now, break up the army immediately and check what the state of things is. So, at this exact moment in time, yeah, my tax base is, yeah, Cornwall was just a tiny bit looted, unfortunately. So, he has just hurt my tax rate quite badly. Even though he couldn't siege the place, he could loot it slightly. So it's going to take time for the county to recover in Cornwall. Devon's still in the process of recovering, and this place, fortunately, didn't take that much of a battering, so I didn't need to siege out the whole place. So for the time being, everything's okay, but the base tax is very, very low indeed. Let's just move time along here, see if this actually updates at the beginning of the next month. It normally updates like once a month, and hasn't updated just yet. It hasn't caught up to the fact I've broken down my levies. It should hopefully do that momentarily. There we go. We're back up to gaining 3 gold a month. Beautiful. So yeah, you'll notice that even though I am actually expanding my empire, we do still have the slight problem that I'm not actually making any more money because these territories have been looted. Oh, Glamorgan is unfortunately poor because you actually inherit any poor decisions that were actually made by your predecessor. So my predecessor decided to actually sell valuable land off for a short-term profit, which means the tax rate is like 50% of what it should be at this exact moment in time, and local building is plus 30% time. That's fine, I'm not building here, and in fact, actually, there's no more space to actually build here unless I'm building one of the extra things like hospitals, forts, or trade posts. These are extra buildings you can build. They're a lot cheaper than building like a whole new city. So a hospital is like, yeah, that's like 94 gold to be built. So it's not actually that bad, to be honest. And basically that just helps with health in the event of epidemics or disease. Forts are a bit more interesting. They are ludicrously cheap. And though the tooltip talks about pagan homelands and whatever, I'm pretty sure that what they do is they just basically, they stop, like, you know, the looting and whatever. They just slow down the process by which people can take over your territory and carry your wealth off. And trade posts are a bit more specific. They need to actually be built where there's actually trade. Hang on. There's not actually that much trade in the world. Hang on, here we go. Trade zones. So unless you're actually in a rich trade zone, like these areas over here, you literally cannot build trade posts because there's not enough trades to justify them. Now, what does bloody Harald Hardrada want? So, I'd like to give you... Aha! I thought this might happen. All of that work by my councillor to make this guy like me. I've just been offered a seat on the council. Oh yes, as advisor. I very graciously, humbly accept, my liege. Oh, this is perfect. So, over to the liege council now, if you'd be so kind. And where am I? There I am. There I flipping am. Advisor. This is me. Oh, yeah. Oh, flipping yeah. That's right. Screw you, East Anglia. Also, rather irritatingly, at the top of this screen that's been there for some time, yeah, one character owes me a favour. Unfortunately, the guy that owes me a favour is completely cocky useless now. Once upon a flipping time, this guy actually used to be, you know, important for something. Now he's just some stupid vassal count who works for some stupid tiny duke. So, this is not particularly useful to me. Although then again, I haven't really looked into this much so far. He does still technically own territory. And he does technically have a son. And it does technically say here that I can actually use a favour to force an acceptance of arranged marriage. Which is of interest. You, my good man, how old are you? You are 7. What if I was to arrange a betrothal to one of the young girls in my court? So, for example, my daughter Arya, she's not going to be very useful. But could I in some way force him to... Come on, how do I actually use the claim here? Ah, tragically, that is going too far. So while there is the call in the favour button there, you cannot call in a favour to force a matrilineal union, and you also can't use it if someone is the current heir. So you can't just use favours to completely steal out a territory from under someone's nose, tragically. Still, could be useful potentially in future, because we can force him to join a plot. So if, for example, I could scheme to get hold of Oxford... Okay. Intriguing. Yeah, if I was to maybe... Keep an eye on Duke Magnus of... I'm just going to call him Duke Magnus of Oxford. Keep an eye on him. If he has a child, or a couple of children, and potentially I could start, say... Yeah, working to steal this territory out from under them, using the fact that one of his actual sub-commanders, the Vassal Count, does actually owe me a favour, which I could use to force him to join me in any plot against his own liege. That could be very, very intriguing. Not least as this guy is in fact the Chancellor of this duchy. Now, the Chancellor could be a very, very useful person to bring in on a plot. Yes. Okay, worth keeping this in mind. That favour could be very, very useful indeed. And by the way, Howell, who's one of my... Okay, my nephews just need to shut up for a while. But apparently my nephew is rowdy. So, go on then, let's give him a bit of a martial education and see if he actually gets any good at being a commander of the future. And oh, thank goodness, I've actually got myself a bloody son. Thank bloody goodness. So, well, I've already got one, but now I've got a spare just in case. I've got a lot of children. We can probably stop at this point. That's probably enough. So, me and my wife have had another child. So, this could be... Kador. You know what? I'm happy for him to be Kador. That's absolutely fine. So now the two sons... Hang on, let's just quickly double check in on this. So the two sons right now are... Yeah, John Mab Kadog and Kador Mab K... Oh, that's a bit of an odd name. Oh, well, fine. We'll just make do. And those are my children in order. But now, yeah, if we go over to the succession... John, then Kador, then... Okay. Then Ragnar Magnusson... Wait, hang on, there's... Oh, wow! You guys got busy fast! Okay, so, yeah, my son-in-law, Prince Magnus of Norway, and apparently, yeah, they actually... Oh, Ragnar doesn't like him very much. Why does he not? Oh. Apparently, yeah, my grandson doesn't like his father, my son-in-law, because he's both cruel and craven. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bit harsh. Yeah, greedy, stressed, craven, cruel, a legitimized bastard. Oh, I didn't actually realise he was a legitimized bastard. Oh, well, no matter. Honestly, this is more about just my relationship with King Harald Hardrada, who right now, yeah, because of the marriage ties, now I've officially married his son. Oh, yeah, they just love each other. What do you think of me, by the way? You like me as well. Good. We're both zealous, we're both humble, marriage ties. Okay, so if he becomes king next, I've got a friend here, and we've also got a title loss on succession. Okay, why do we have a title loss on succession precisely? Hang on. Ah, I think I understand what's going on here. It's because of our stupid, ridiculous, bloody inheritance laws. So yes, right now, because of this agnatic, cognatic, gavelkite nonsense, basically my empire, when I die, will be divided among my children in order with men jumping the queue. Unfortunately, this means that, yeah, this guy, my son, would be the Duke of Cornwall and own Cornwall. My second son, there's John. So Cador, who's just been born, would therefore inherit, he'd be the heir to the... Wait, he'd be the heir to the County Glamorgan? Yeah, you get Duchy of Cornwall, you get Glamorgan. But you're part of my... Hang on. Why? Cador's in my flipping dynasty. Okay, this one's got me a bit confused, because I assume it's something to do with the succession laws that mean that lands will be divided between my children, and in my succession queue is technically someone of Norway. But I also can't help but notice over here... Oh my... Well, would you look at this right here? Would you look at a very major army of Norway? Looks to me like it is being very, very much torn apart by a great big army of Sweden. Which is very, very of interest. And also, hello there. What's going on here? So, who are you exactly? The Duke of Kent. Okay, will you vote with me in the council? Oh, yeah. I'm always willing to accept a favour. Okay, the Duke of Kent owing me a favour. That could be very, very useful for potentially in future marrying into Kent. Yes, 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 yes. Now, back to where we were here. Back to where we flipping were, because I don't see any... No, I see no Norwegian reinforcements dotted around here. So it looks to me like, actually, yeah, this guy's only losing about... Yeah, he's losing a very small number of troops here, and you're losing a very large number of troops. You are being driven off, you stupid bastard. And, oh dear, a very, very major loss right there. If the Norwegians lose this war and thus get themselves humiliated, that could be very, very nice indeed. Because what do you even want out of this war? I mean, technically, yeah, you'll actually not be able to get anything back unless you happen to have claims down you can enforce during the war anyway. But it looks to me like this force is, yeah, probably naffing off at this point. Naffing off north very, very quickly indeed. And that means that this guy can take back any previously occupied territory. This war could start going very well for Sweden. I think everyone in England, though we're supposed to be on the Norwegian side, is very, very much in favour of that sort of thing, actually. We're all going rah rah yay Sweden. Well, isn't this just marvellously good news, by the way? So it's October, and well, first, actually, a holy man came to court talking about matters of faith. Okay, but he had, unorthodox views. Oh dear, I believe I did the right thing when I gave the orders to imprison a blasphemous pagan who dared criticise faith and church. And yes, indeed. What's that going to do? So, someone's going to react to the imprisonment. And... why does Rio show up there? Okay. I was still shaken with rage at the pagan's blasphemous words when Bishop Nomino took the opportunity to whisper, "Good work. Thanks, I needed that." So the bishop was in favour of that sort of thing. Now, it's October. And we started in September a decade ago. Now, I believe that means... has reigned for at least 10 years. I have totally reigned for at least 10 years, but apparently it's not 10 years enough just yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. And my master just had another daughter. I could deal with you having a son. to be perfectly honest, but okay. Let's just check what's going on over here in the Swedish war, because, yeah, now this guy's ahead, he's going to be able to most definitely... yeah, he can actually reinforce a lot fast. He's reinforcing 173 soldiers a month. Now, you're reinforcing fast too, because you've actually retreated into the land of Norway. But at this point, this guy can just basically counter-invade if that's what he wants to do. Yeah, he's going to basically undo that siege right there. And uh-oh, what just happened? Oh, I think the Scots have just decided to attack us as well. The game's not even bloody flagged yet. Right. Who exactly have you decided to go to war with there? You are now in a de jure war over Cantonese. Okay, does anyone know what Canton is? Ah, it's up there. Alright. Doesn't involve me in the flipping slightest. I'm staying out of that one. So, I mean, in all fairness, the Scots have picked a good moment. The Scots have basically realised that what is actually going on here is, yeah, the Norwegians are very, very much distracted. They've brought their entire strength back here. Which means they're going to basically, yeah, they can win the war against Scotland. They've brought the survivors here. Though actually, now this force is in Scotland, it's going to recharge a lot more flipping slowly. Guys, this might be the time. Alright, if we were thinking there was a good time to potentially rise up against the actual flipping forces of Norway, right now they've got 2 wars on, and neither of those wars are looking so hot. Alright, seriously. Yeah, Duke Morcar for England. And as I'm with the council, and the council gets to vote on war declarations, that you can only create or join factions while the council is... while the council is content, which apparently they are for the time being, they look pretty discontent to me, to be honest. Yeah, malcontent. You're a glory hound. No, actually, there's only 2 malcontents on the council for the time being. So, someone else needs to become a malcontent first. Can I just become a malcontent? I'd like to officially become a malcontent, please. Yes, how about I become a malcontent? And, okay, you're not being changed it for a month. I have decided to become a malcontent at this point, meaning at this point it is 50% malcontents. Now, does that officially mean that the council is going to switch to malcontentness? And also, I could force this guy to vote with me. That is interesting. So he's voting somewhere else. And, oh, well, there's business to deal with back in Cornwall as well. A group of craftsmen have come to my court and shown off their work. They present with fine goods, of which you are sure there will be demand for in the realm. Noticing your interest. Okay, they ask for some capital to set up a workshop. Depends how much. 50 gold. Okay, this better pay for itself. Alright, seriously. That better have been a good investment. You're lucky I've got 50 gold. So yeah, the Norwegians are just very, very slowly starting to siege out parts of this. There are now, yeah, 3 malcontents on the council. Guys, it's time. Seriously. It's so time. In fact, I could force Kent to actually join me and vote with me. They'd have no choice but to vote with me as a malcontent. And then the council would officially be not content. And then we could all join the Morcar faction. Guys, I think it's Independence Day. Guys, I think we might be able to do this. Right, now what are you doing over here, by the way? You are now heading to... Yeah, you're just heading into Norwegian territory right now. There's another flipping army of... Wait. Army of Moray? Hang on, that's... The Scottish army's counter-invaded Norway! You mad bastards! So that war is not going anywhere fast. Because... Oh. Hello. Mayor Tallinn. Oh, it's Mayor Tallinn. Mayor Tallinn? Are you okay? What happened to Mayor Tallinn? When you say Mayor Tallinn is... Oh dear, he died of severe stress! Blimey, well I guess being a spy master would logically be stressful. Yes, that is true. He was stressed, he was depressed as well. And that hurt his health. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't even realise. Right, well that is a bit of a sad thing. Right, okay. Gonna need ourselves a new spy master. Now, who in my realm is sneaky? And the new mayor of Bodmin is actually pretty darn sneaky. Who are you, by the way? Where did you actually come from? Are you new? Because I don't actually remember you anywhere. No family we know of. I think he is just, yeah, a new mayor of Bodmin. So Bodmin mayors just apparently make excellent spy masters because he's better than the last guy. I just remembered that I can't make Kent vote with me on the council because the favour is because I'm voting with him on the council. It's not about your position, it's about how you vote in certain decisions. Fine. Right, well that's interesting. Okay, in which case, let's just see what the heck is going on up here, because yes, now Sweden is just starting to immediately besiege these territories. Scotland is over here besieging these territories as well. Like, okay, fine, the Norwegian army will be able to besiege their way through Scotland faster, but they're going to lose a whole bunch of stuff too. And Janet and Count Matthew of Wiltshire. Ah, yes, of course. Janet, you're married to... Janet, you're supposed to have a husband. Janet, why do you not have a husband, Janet? You're supposed to... Janet, where did that son come from? Also, apparently my Chancellor fluffed something over in Winchester, so no matter, I'm sure it's all fine. Right, who was that son that just got born? Because apparently Janet had a son, but where exactly is... Hang on, go over here. I know Janet's around here somewhere or other. Yeah, Janet, my niece, who's not married, but has managed to pull a child from somewhere. I swear you were married, Janet. Ah, that would be why. He's a bastard. Right, well, apparently, yeah, officially he's only got one parent because his father's denied him. Right, Janet, do we need to get you married? Because I do feel like Lover's Pox, gregarious, content, temperate, has, I'm not sure what Lover's Pox is a euphemism for, but it's probably bad. Probably really quite bad. Right, so... that whole fertility up, and also she's picked up an STD. Janet, come on. Come on, Janet. Right, we need to get you married to somebody appropriate. Well, I can't help but notice that Somerset's a little bit pretty much unguarded right now. The guy who's running it's just a count, who's not actually officially part of a duchy. Because, well, oh, hang on. Yes, it is. Because he's actually reporting into... King Harald Hardrada as... wait, hang on. King Harald Hardrada was the Duke of... wait, is there a Duke of Wessex right now? Duchy of Wessex? Is there even a Duchy of Wessex? Is anyone even running the damn thing? Yes, technically he owns the Duchy of Wessex, so I probably shouldn't actually go and declare war on Somerset right now, because that might technically be a sort of attack on him. So that's probably a bad idea. Right, Janet, we'll come back to you in a second, because I'm more interested in what's going on over here. In particular, this catastrophically bad war that is currently occurring in, yeah, this rather lovely environment right here. So Sweden has basically kicked the Norwegians' asses straight back out of Norway. The Scots are... they're not doing well, but they're holding on. They're holding their flipping out. Right now, they've managed to successfully siege the actual county capital of Nindros, which I believe is actually where... isn't that where, like, one of my grandchildren is right now? I'm not quite 100% sure. Also, seriously, Gabe, I've been ruling for 10 years. Why are we having a problem? Oh, hang on. Is it because I'm not allowed to change the law until... oh, 1079. That's flipping why. Yes. Right. It's because I can't do a change of any laws whatsoever. So I need to wait until 1079 in... what's the exact date? September. 1st September 1079. At that point, I'll be able to change the law and actually get succession sorted out. Right, Caddock, hold on. Do not die for 2 years. Seriously. If you just hold on, we can change the succession laws. And then we can make sure we don't lose anything. Because if you die, I think this goes over to my grandson, who's technically not part of the flipping duchy anymore. Unless, of course... was your wife recently pregnant again? If she is, I can't quite bloody remember if she's pregnant again. If she is pregnant again, that would actually be great. Because then at that point... she could actually, yeah, have another son, and presumably that would actually jump the queue ahead of my grandson, and that would sort out this problem of Glamorgan. Except it's not saying, it's saying Glamorgan lost on succession to Cador Mab Caddock, but Cador Mab Caddock is, he's my son. That doesn't leave the succession. He's not betrothed to anyone. He's 1 year old. I'm really confused by that, but I want to change the succession laws anyway, so it's fine. And that war is going very, very badly indeed. In fact, yeah, any moment now, they just need to take out one more settlement with either of their forces. In fact, actually, where's the... We've lost sight of the main Swedish army. I don't even know where that is right now. There's one Swedish army, currently just taking out this place. That should not take them long at all. Assuming there's... Yeah, they can easily take that down. Scots are not doing well, but they're holding on. And you guys are going... Yeah, you guys have managed to officially siege all of this down. That is a Lothian fleet right there. And now you having... Yeah, you've sieged all of that. Now you're sieging this to force these guys into a surrender. But... There we go. That war's over at this point. Fine. So, how did that war actually end up for you? Precisely. Let's just check if we can actually find anything out here. Surely that's got to be a negative debuff against you. You've just been humiliated in some capacity. You have just very much lost that war. Sad as I was not directly involved, I'm not sure I can actually see exactly what was done in that war, but that's got to reflect badly on him. Probably he just lost a whole bunch of prestige. And better, these counties seem to have pretty much 100% recovered. Glamorgan's almost recovered, Cornwall's looking good, Devon's looking good. We're up to making 4.6 a month, so we are actually making good money at this point, and that is marvellously good news. Now, what's going on with the factions right now? We've got ourselves, yeah, Dorset and Somerset are in there. Morcar isn't right now, because just for the moment, the Liege Council is... technically content. I would like a couple of people to officially be malcontents, but no one else in there just for the time being. You see, even if technically Norway's going to win this war, they're kind of going to have lost a little bit regardless. Because at this point, yeah, they've had a whole bunch of their territories sieged and damaged. A lot of wealth has been carried off. A lot of damage has been done at this point. And... oh, hang on. I think that war's over at this point. Damage has been done, and now... oh, King Malcolm III of Scotland is... hang on. Why has that just changed there? Over... that's the same war. Why has the shield just changed? The shield has just changed. Anyway, while passing judgment on criminals from the safety of your throne, a young noble is brought before me. You quickly come to the conclusion the man is indeed guilty. Condemning him might not be the wisest choice, as he is of noble birth. If you pardon him, he might be useful to you. He'd be in your debt. That would cost me prestige, but not much prestige. That would also get me a new courtier, but a criminal. But it'll owe me a favour. Okay, being of noble birth means nothing. To the dungeons with him! That's 50 prestige. Let's see actually what he is for the time being. Because if he owes me a favour, could be of use. So 3 characters owe me a favour. Now you, my good man... who exactly are you? And are you actually any good at your job, whatever your job is? Insinian. You are reasonable. You're also technically of a noble house and uh-oh. Headache. This is not good. Hold on 9 months till we can change the cocking succession laws. Okay, according to the Chancellor, the peasants of Glamorgan have started a delightful tradition where the peasantry from several villages meet up and dance. Well, this sounds delightful. So, strong local... oh, yeah! Cornish local culture. Yes, absolutely. So that gets me prestige. That gets harvest festivals. Ooh, 15% bonus tax for just 6 gold. Yeah, abso-flipping-lutely. Ah, more serious matters. I hopefully am dying. So he wants to... right, so he's bloodletting. Good. I'm not convinced this doctor is a good doctor. Like, at flipping all. Now, what the heck is going on up north? What is going on up north now? Ah, there is a significant Scottish army. And what's down here? Oh, the craftsmen I funded apparently have gone bankrupt. So this is just a bad day. I'm dying and the craftsmen have gone bankrupt. And you probably want to be a guardian to my children. No, go away. Not interested. You like me plenty enough already. So there are some Scots armies somewhere. Possibly over there, actually. And, oh, I've got the Great Pox. Which is... oh, syphilis. Can that be cured in the 11th century? I'm concerned... okay, hold on. Hold on for the time being. Okay, seriously, if you can make it September, we can change the succession laws, and then we can actually have a proper good form of succession, rather than the stupid, let's just scatter the lands everywhere and screw everything. Okay. So, several different types of treatment he can offer. My life is in your hands, experimental. Well, he's been useless so bloody far. Or something nice and safe. Again, depends on his capabilities. Well, he's supposed to be a renowned physician. That's one of his character traits, but he's been absolutely awful so far. Or I could just ignore it and become Craven. Do something safe. Just something that, like, you know, is known to work for syphilis. Which I don't know if that's anything in the 11th century. He presented me with the charred carcass of a cat. That worked? How did that work? Okay, as you ate, he told you how he had chased the plump feline around your holding for hours. You felt as if he wanted praise for his hard work, but the vile taste kept you silent. That apparently worked. And how did eating a cat work? Well, okay, right, what else can I do to potentially try and desperately stay alive? Because I've still technically got great pox right now. But successful treatment is going to potentially keep me alive for... Well, oh, keep me alive for... Right, apparently I'm Superman for the next 5 years because I ate a cat. That's interesting. Now, can I... Oh, in 3 days I can change my focus to something that gives me health. Good, that'll be a very good idea. Because some of these things do give you health. Like, yeah, theology gives you health. Family gives you health. That's more diplomacy right there, and health +1, which I assume is like because, you know, you're close to your family, so your family all hangs out together and they take care of you. Okay, now with that true, with +1 health off that, and +2 health off successful treatment, the Great Pox gives me -2 health. I am, well, hopefully not dying. That means I should have a decent chance of survival. And the realm is doing well. Plus 4.5 gold is nice. And, well, the realm is doing well. I can't help but notice that, yeah, Norway's in just complete, absolute shambles right now. The Scots have counter-invaded. Norway is... Yeah, Norway, lack of funds. They're basically bankrupt at this point. They can't keep track of everything. Let's just have a little look-see at the factions here. So there are factions going on here. Duke Morcar for England, but right now the factions are small. Quite small. So we'll need to see, yeah, what's going... Actually, this is interesting. Let's have a look at this. So Harald Hardrada is currently in the process of slowly dying. He's 64. He can't be around for too much longer. My son-in-law stands to inherit. Everything's coming to a head here. Norway is in a lot of flipping trouble. A huge amount of trouble. They're bankrupt. They are technically just about holding on right now, but they've just had their arses handed to them by Sweden. They're not exactly doing well versus Scotland. Yeah, there's a massive Scottish army that's counter-invaded Norway right now that could be about to utterly kick the arse of Harald Hardrada. Again, in fact, I think that's exactly where they're going. 25th, 23rd, no. They're going to hit each other. He's actually, the Scots are genuinely about to smash the army of King Harold again. He doesn't stand a chance. Not a flipping chance, he's outnumbered like 2-3 to 1. Though he does have mountains to his advantage and you've got a river crossing, but it wasn't anywhere near enough. The massive numerical advantage was enough to win that. So Harald Hardrada has just basically had his arse handed to him. Right. Well, this is going not as I was expecting. Hello there. So, a favour from Duke Harold. Well, you're powerful. You're a duke. At this point, I've got a favour from the Duke of Essex, and I've got a favour from the Duke of Kent, and I've got a favour from a vassal count over here. Now, I don't think favours are inherited, but this could potentially be very useful. I need to have a think about what I want to use all these bloody favours for. And here we go. September 1079. I have survived. And that means, I believe, the law should now be up for... What do you mean I've not reigned for 10 years? Yes, I have. Yes. Yes, I 100% have. I'm 48. It's 1079. I've reigned from 1066. Technically, I've reigned from 1055 because that's when my dad died. I don't know what you're on about. Okay, I think I've figured it out. I just have to go and look that up online, but I have an answer. If you change your primary title, then that changes how long you've actually reigned. But fortunately, I can hover over this shield and it tells me. It's that I have been the Duke of Cornwall since the 16th of December of 1069. So that's when my reign as Duke began. Okay, now that makes a lot more sense right there. So all I need to do actually is not make it too much further. So keep surviving. It's just another 3 months till the 16th of December. And defensive pact opposing Harald III of England has been disbanded. Hello, what's the... Oh, wait, what? Uh-oh, I think something quite significant just happened. Harald Hardrada's dead. Harald Hardrada just died. Oh, okay. Harald Hardrada just died, which is fine. And also, little John. Oh God, I don't really want you to educate John, to be honest, but it's probably worth keeping you on side for the time being. I'd like to actually... you know what? No, John's too important. No, I'm sorry. I know you're not going to like that, but this is too important. Right, something just very major just occurred here. Something very important, which is we just lost sight of England. I think... England's back! And they didn't invite me! Why did you not invite me? Hang the flip on here! I feel like this should be a high priority message. England just came back, and we're technically no longer a part of it. They left us out here with Norway! We're just stuck out here with Norway, like a tip of flipping Scotland and Iceland. We've just been left. Right, well, how did that happen? Okay, I've had a moment to think about this, and I think I've figured out what actually happened here, but I just want to say I'm not particularly happy about it. Okay, I feel a little bit left out and shunned by England. I feel like all the other English dukes have got together and had like a really nice birthday party, and everyone in class was invited, apart from me. I was the one kid in class that was not invited to the awesome party. Alright, so I'm feeling a bit aggrieved, but I do think I understand what's just happened here. And basically it boils down to succession law and how titles are handed out on succession. You see, in the first part, when Norway took over England, I gave a slightly oversimplified explanation because I didn't want to get into all the detail. Norway never actually technically just ate England. The Kingdom of England still existed, it was just being held by Harald Hardrada. In fact, the easiest way I can show this off is I've just dropped a save. I'm actually going to reload the autosave from the beginning of this year, purely so I can actually show you exactly what was going on with Harald Hardrada. So welcome back to 1079 Better Days for the Norwegians, where yes, as we can see here, King Harald never destroyed or anything the Kingdom of England. It was always there. It was just a title that he held at the same time as holding the Kingdom of Norway. He just simply chose to make the Kingdom of Norway his primary title, hence why England appears as Norway in the realm map. But the Kingdom of England was still totally up for grabs. And this is where succession starts getting a bit more complicated, because every single one of these titles might not necessarily have the same succession laws. And across both of these kingdoms, yeah, elective seems to be the rule, where basically people get to actually vote on things. So in the case of the Kingdom of Norway, if I've understood this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because this is getting a bit complicated at this point. So, agnatic, cognatic, elective. The agnatic and cognatic thing basically just determines rules relating to gender. The elective business basically means anyone who is, I think it's de jure dukes, they get to basically have a say. When the old king dies, everybody gets to have a vote on who ought to be the new king. And given the line of succession already exists, I guess they've already been allowed to have their say. Because yeah, Magnus Haraldsson Yngling, that's my son-in-law, the guy who will go on to be King of Norway, is top of the list. The Kingdom of England also has agnatic elective, so just slightly different gender rules, but basically the same system. However, the only people that get to vote in that are people who are de jure dukes of the Kingdom of England. Now you might be wondering, why didn't I get a vote? That's because Cornwall is not a de jure duchy of England, which is also why things have gone a bit wrong. We'll get back to that in a moment. So all of the English dukes got to actually have a vote, and they've decided to vote, I believe, for Magnus Haraldsson of Godwin, the son of Harald II, so as a result, he is actually in line to inherit the Kingdom of England. So even though some of these actual duchies are supposed to potentially go over to Magnus Haraldsson Yngling, he won't be king, so he won't actually be able to have them, which is why when Harald Hardrada drops dead, England begins to exist again on the realm map, And because there is an independent English king, all of the English duchies move back over to him. So, back to October 1079, you're probably wondering at this point, well, why didn't I go back to England? Because at the beginning of the game, I was de facto part of England, but de jure, I was never part of England to begin with. So if we go over to the de jure kingdom map right here, sure, when England was conquered, because I was a part of England, I got taken and actually absorbed into Norway. However, when the title of England went over to someone else, this new guy, King Magnus of England, unfortunately, Cornwall didn't get returned, because it wasn't part of England's de jure realm, so therefore it just stayed where it was, which is now flipping part of Norway. So there's just a bit of Norway sticking off the end of England. And if England and Norway ever end up at war with each other, I'm basically going to be the softest, closest target for all of England to dogpile. So I basically now need England and Norway to not flipping go to war. Which is a really big problem, because King Magnus II of Norway, having, previously been part of the ruling dynasty of England, has a strong claim to England. Luckily, King Magnus has no form of claim on Norway, so if we're very, very lucky indeed, he'll just leave Norway alone. And at this exact moment in time, I don't think Norway's in any position to be attempting to retake England. Having had their asses handed to them by Sweden, and badly damaged by Scotland as well, yeah, Norway is basically in no position to do anything right now. This also presents me with new problems. Previously, of course, as an actual vassal count, or rather as a duke, I suppose, of England, there was nothing to stop me attacking the other dukes and vassals of England if I had a legitimate excuse. Now I can't do that, because I technically belong to flipping Norway at this bloody point. Yeah, if I actually want to attack England, I can't just attack this guy, I've got to declare war on the highest tier of England. Yeah, literally the only guy I can declare war against is King Magnus of England himself. So no more sniping off the counties of England for me. At this point, either I take England, or I stay out of the English wars full stop. And that leaves me with, well, pretty much only one option, what I was already thinking about. Wales. Wales is potentially my opportunity. I should be able to mop up parts of Wales. But now, of course, I've been reminded that succession laws are bloody complicated. I might want to spend a little bit of time just very quickly going over who exactly is going to inherit what. But this leaves me in a very, very awkward position right now, which is, yes indeed, King Magnus of Norway actually quite likes me. Me and him, we get on just fine, but working for him might actually be a complete flipping liability. Thankfully, King Magnus of England is also, he's okay with me. For the time being, he's alright with me, and I've deployed my Chancellor to basically try and boost my relationship with the King of England to make sure he doesn't get any stupid ideas. And now having gone over that, I think I now understand about, the title loss on succession. It's not telling me that a title is going to actually move out of my empire, it's telling me that it can't be inherited because of the actual rules of succession I've got set up right now. So my eldest son, John, can actually inherit the entire Duchy of Cornwall. That's great, but my second eldest son is going to get the County of Glamorgan. He's still inside my empire, so it's fine. He'd basically just be a vassal count reporting in to Duke John. So that'd be fine, to be honest. It wouldn't really be a problem. It would just mean I get ever so slightly less tax revenue in, because my domain would actually be a little bit on the small side. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd say in this strange new world we suddenly find ourselves, let's call it a part there, because this is going to get very, very interesting indeed. I need to find my feet quickly here, figure out what my relationship with England is going to be in the future, figure out what my relationship with Norway is going to be, and see, oh, this could go so badly wrong. This could go so badly wrong. Please, please, Magnus, whatever you do, and I'm talking to Magnus of Norway. Why do they always have to be named the same thing? Magnus, my son-in-law, please, do not attack England. For the love of God, please don't attack England. You've got your hands full with Scotland and Sweden and Ooh, Denmark could show up. Oh, what happens if Denmark... Actually, if Denmark shows up, they won't attack me because they're not attacking... Oh, this could all be very, very interesting indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We will pick things up next time as I try and figure out what the logical next steps are. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Crusader Kings 2. Thank you very much, and goodbye. You know, I really hope we've agreed open borders with Japan, by the way. Otherwise, they have basically just invaded. I may have picked the wrong fight over... Yep. And my cities, of course, have got even more flipping high-tech. They're mysteriously still completely dependent on, you know, an aqueduct. Now, I'm not saying your entire army is mostly already dead, but it kind of actually is.